You know, a good reminder from Genesis chapter 1, verse 3 is God always pierces the darkness, always. And the darkness doesn't last.
And the high priest, the great high priest who is Jesus Christ, he puts his hands on your life and you take your hands off and you say, my life is surrendered for your purposes.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the Downline Podcast. My name is Jamie Trussell. I have the privilege of hosting this for Downline Ministries. Get to serve as lead pastor out in Redeemer, Dripping Springs, outside of Austin, Texas. We really do hope this podcast helps people faithfully walk with Jesus while pouring their lives into others. This is going to be a ton of fun as we're joined today by Lecrae. Lecrae, thanks for being here.
I'm honored. I appreciate the opportunity.
I was thinking, I saw you, this morning? I feel like for the first time in like 20 years. That may be an overstatement.
Yeah, because I'm only 25, so it's crazy.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's got to be 15. The last time was, you probably don't remember this. I don't know why you would, but we had just hooped at Second Pres like the night before. Remember those days? Way back in the day.
When I was playing basketball.
That's right. When Quentin was still dunking.
Man.
You were just eating a chicken biscuit by yourself at that Chick-fil-A right there on Mendenhall.
Wow.
Right there. And that's the last time I feel like I talked to you. So this is a ton of fun.
That's crazy.
I would love for folks just to get to know you better. Backstory, how did Lecrae become Lecrae? So let's dial it all the way back to Texas. Where were you born? Where were you raised? And then what was your first introduction to kind of knowing, man, I'd love to try to rap?
Born in Houston, Texas, to a group of dysfunctional young parents who didn't know what they were doing. That didn't work out. So it was a broken home. My mother moved around a bit to just try to get some stability. So I ended up living in California. I lived in Denver. And then we settled in Dallas. And so by my teenage years, I was in Dallas. And probably as a little kid, I would say 11 or 12, I wanted to make music. I was always expressive and wanted to express my thoughts. And I was introduced to rap music, to hip hop by my older cousins. They were watching rap videos. Videos were like, they would show, before YouTube, they used to show music videos on television. Mm-hmm. So
some of us remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I stayed up late and watched those with my older cousins, and I said, this is something that I want to do. I want to use this as a way to express myself and try to impress the young fifth grade girls with my rapping skills.
How'd that go?
Yeah, well, it went okay.
Well, okay.
It went okay. I had some work to do. You get better at it. But by the time I was in middle school, I knew that this was a passion of mine, and it was something that I really wanted to pursue.
When did that go from passion to like, I'm actually pretty good at this?
I think you're always delusional as a kid, so you always think you're good at something, even though you may be all right. But what happened for me was in the 8th grade, there was a talent show downtown, and it was probably it was about 300 to 400 people there, and I won out of all the contestants. This 13-year-old kid.
Do you still remember that song?
I don't think it's appropriate.
All right, here we go. Those are my favorite ones. They get the most clicks.
That's true. Yeah. But yeah, no, I do vaguely remember some of it. But that's when I kind of knew, okay, maybe I got something here. And a record producer saw me in the crowd, and he wanted to sign me and do all kinds.
In 8th grade.
8th grade.
How'd you navigate that?
My mom didn't really understand it all, and so single parent, just trying to figure stuff out. So I would jump on a city bus and ride to his studio and record stuff, and we didn't really understand what was going on. So I believe it didn't work out. I think he ran out of money and had some drug problems. So those songs are just lost
out there somewhere,
out there in oblivion. But that's when I knew like this could be something. At that point in time, when an adult was willing to take me serious, I think I was like, okay, I might have some skill here.
So you mentioned your mom. Was she your first introduction to faith and things about Jesus or God, or where does that come in?
It's a good question. My mother was raised in a very strict Pentecostal household.
Okay.
And because of that, there wasn't a lot of a Christian education, so they didn't understand the Bible that well. It was a lot of emotionalism and a lot of legalism and rules. And so she didn't get a proper education on grace. She wasn't allowed to go to sports games. Competition was a sin. She wasn't allowed to wear pants, wear makeup, anything along those lines. So she rebelled against Christianity. And by the time I came around, her thought process was, I don't want to introduce him to this because it was so traumatic for me. So she raised me to be a free thinker, which ended up being a blessing because I began to explore all religions, all thoughts, all things. So I came into the faith as a skeptic. My mother didn't introduce me to Jesus. My grandmother did, who was the very strict Pentecostal woman. But I still praise God for her because she laid some foundational roots for me and just helped me understand the idea of a God in a Christ.
Yeah. And my wife came to faith through her grandma, so shout out to the grandmas out there.
Yeah.
I mean, what a role, a really important role. Okay, so at what point then you got the foundation laid by your grandma, mom don't want anything to do with it, came by that honestly, right, with her background. When does it start to sink in and you go, okay, it's not this, this is true?
So I had a really wild and traumatic like high school, early college situation.
High school in Dallas?
Yeah.
Where'd you go to high school?
Well, actually, outside of North Dallas, I went to as a suburb called Plano. So Plano East Senior High School. Went to my last 2 years of high school there.
Okay.
Really traumatic situation. I gone from all these inner city urban schools, get jumped into the suburbs my last 2 years of high school. I don't understand this world. I don't understand how it interacts. A lot of pressure to perform, to do better at school. I'm an athlete. So it's kind of where I know how to do. And I'm very inquisitive, and I'm challenging perspectives and rules all the time. And so I had some mental health challenges in high school because I didn't fit in. I didn't know where my people were. And I was very depressed. I was very anxious, turned to drugs, turned to alcohol in high school. And, was always ambitious. So I didn't want to ruin my high school career. I knew I wanted to pursue something more in life. But I just was tormented. I honestly feel like I was demonically tormented as a high school student. And, my mother, it got so bad that she was like, well just read the Bible. She was so she's like, I don't even know what to do with you. Just read the Bible. I got arrested. I got in lots of trouble, had some pregnancy scares. This is all in high school. And I remember tearing the pages out the Bible and crumbling them up and throwing them, on the floor. And that very night that I tore those pages up and crumbled them and threw them on the floor, I went to sleep and had a dream. And I had a dream that I was flying over a golden dome. And I was like, what the heck was that? It felt so real. It was like a lucid dream. I was like, well, golden dome, what the heck? That felt too real. So I get up in the morning, and this is before you can Google things.
Oh, yes. Half the room has no idea that world existed. I know, right.
So I go to the library, and I talk to the librarian, and I'm like, hey, I'm trying to find out about a golden dome. And she's like, maybe that's the Dome of the Rock. I don't know. And she, you pull out the, I forgot what you call the thing where you roll it. Yeah, you look at all the little library books.
By the way, anybody ever actually looked up something in an encyclopedia at a library? All right, shout out. Y'all are our people. All right, keep going. Keep going.
This is ancient history.
Keep going. That's right.
Ancient history.
Yeah.
So I find this massive book about Jerusalem and the Dome of the Rock, and I open it up, and I'm like, no way, this is a picture of the thing in my dream. So I'm like, how is this possible that what I dreamed is in this book? So it kind of freaked me out. I did some more research about it, and I learned that it was territory occupied by Islam. So I thought, God is Allah, and I need to become a Muslim. Wow. So I began to study Islam, and went down the pathway of becoming a Muslim and practicing Islam. But for a 17-year-old, that's extremely difficult. It's very rule-oriented. It was a lot of legalism there. Don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. And I just found myself, going to mosque with my friend Jamie, and I was like, this is hard, bro. I was like, this is so hard, and I just wasn't doing well at it.
Yeah.
And I feel like I'm failing at this. And I went to sleep another night in my pursuit of Islam and had the similar dream. But this time the dome opened up. And inside of the dome, I couldn't see specifically, but I saw what appeared to be a baby, made of like stone, and it was risen up high. And I couldn't see the baby's face specifically, but it was, when I looked into the manger, I just saw like a blurry, bearded figure, and it was weird. But what it did for me was it made me say, Jesus. And I said, wait a minute, maybe I got this all wrong. So I'm going to go back to the library, do some more research, learn that originally the Dome of the Rock was created by the Jews, and God's chosen people, and it had been occupied by Islam. So what that told me was, so maybe it's the God of the Bible that is trying to get my attention. Wow. So anyway, long story longer.
Wow.
Long story longer, I said, I got to go to church. We didn't have a church, but I got up and, man, I'm so old right now. I got up and I looked in the yellow pages.
Come on. Yes.
And I found a local church, and I go to this church by myself. I'm 17. And I stood out like a cheeseburger at Chick-fil-A, man. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what they were talking about. It was just terms I never heard before. And a woman comes up to me after service, and she says, "Young man, are you saved?" And I said, and I was like, saved from what? Like, what do I need to be? What's something? I don't know this terminology. And she's just like, looks horrified. And I said, no, I guess I'm not saved. I said, if saved, I thought in my mind, saved must be mean like my grandmother. And I don't eat peppermints. I don't carry purse.
Werther's Originals.
Werther's Originals, all of that.
Not even in the wrapper anymore. Just take them out of the pocket. It's like, I don't want that.
None of that.
Yeah.
So I said no, and she was horrified, and she said, "Can I pray for you?" She prayed for me, and I didn't come to faith that year, but I came to faith the year after that. But that moment stayed with me forever. So,
thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So you come to faith a year later, and what's next? And by the way, are you still making music during all this?
Ish.
Yeah.
Like ish, just with my high school buddies, and I'm trying to, so now I'm more spiritual. I'm not like, I don't know exactly what it means to be a follower of Jesus. I just know that God is real, Jesus is his son, and Jesus is God, and I need to follow him. But I don't have no one's discipling me. I'm going to this little like storefront church, and I don't really understand a lot. I actually got my mom to start coming to the church with me, and I don't really know much. But when I get to college, I got a full scholarship to the University of North Texas, and I get to college, and a young lady who I had taken to prom was a Christian. She invites me to Bible study. I go to a conference. I become a Christian at the conference, and now I have this group of people around me, and I'm making music, but it's like diet gangster. You know what I mean? It's not, you know what I mean? It's like God is good, and I want to love him, so don't cross me. It was like those type of things. You know what I mean? So, I was trying to like transform it, and I heard this album when I was 18. I became a Christian at 19, and I heard this album called The Miseducation of Lauryn Hill, and it was so spiritual. She was weaving her journey with God into it, and it inspired me, and I said, that's what I need to start doing. I need to make music about my journey with God, and that's where it began.
So you're in North Texas, which is where I think we crossed paths for the first time.
That's right.
Through Ben Washer.
That's right.
And who helped start Reach Records.
That's right.
And I remember Ben, so y'all don't know Ben. Ben went to college at Auburn. He took my small group over after Kenan graduated. So Kenan passes us to Ben. I'm riding with Ben Washer in North Carolina one day, and he puts a cassette tape, which we've lost like half the audience, all our references at this point.
Yellow Pages wiped them out, bro.
Somebody said, they're Googling Yellow Pages. That's where we're at. Yeah. And he puts in a cassette tape of some guy named Tommy Nelson doing a Bible Q&A.
Oh, yeah.
And I listened to it, and I'm going, I didn't know the Bible answered questions. That's where I was at. And he's like reading, somebody's like, and a mom just sent in, should my son marry this idiot girl? Well, let me tell you, no. And I'm like, goes through all this stuff. And I go, and Ben goes, hey, you can move to Denton and learn the Bible from this guy. I go, okay. So years later, I moved to Denton. You're already there.
That's right.
And, you're growing.
Yeah.
Like the music is coming out. And in fact, I was playing your music for my kids in the car the other day because they think they're on the podcast today.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they think they're part of it. They're not, but they think they're part of it.
It's okay.
And I went old school, and I play Represent.
Yeah.
Oh, the old. And my daughter looks at me, and she says, what does it mean to get crunk? And I sat there, and I thought, I have no idea how to answer that question. It's like you just kind of know it, or you don't.
Yeah.
But you make a turn there. You and Ben start Reach Records. You're going. Was there a moment where you went, this is going to be something?
That's a good question. I'm trying to think, did I ever feel like, you know what? I don't think there's ever like a defining moment. It was, so interestingly, I'm going somewhere, stay with me. But Psalm 23, it says that he leads us in the green pastures, right? And if you ever go to Israel, which I've been a few times, there's no green pastures there. So you're like, what the heck is he talking about? And when you see the shepherds guiding the sheep, you get a better picture. What they're guided to are like these little tufts of grass that are on the edge of the hillside. And it's just a little bit. They eat a little bit, and then it's gone. And they got to like wander around till they find another one. But the shepherd is like leading them to every little tuft of grass. So it's like, if you don't depend on the shepherd, you're not going to find anything to eat. And what is happening is that God is not providing them with everything they need in one big old patch of grass. God is saying, stay with me. I'm going to give you a little bit more, a little bit. I'm going to give you your daily bread. And that's how I felt like the rapping career in Reach Records was. It was never like this defining moment. It was like, here's a little patch right here, and a little patch right here, and a little patch right here. One big moment in the beginning, because we didn't know anything. We didn't know anything about the music industry, nothing. Like, we didn't even have a UPC code on the back of the CD. We were like, oh, we didn't know we needed to have that. But one defining moment for me was older, one of the Bible study leaders at my college. He was a financial advisor.
Okay.
And he would disciple college students and whatnot. And he came to me, and this is a financial advisor.
Okay.
Went to college, the whole nine. He said, Lecrae, you need to pursue this as a career. And I'm like, if the financial advisor is telling me to rap for a living, then this might be something.
Yeah.
So that was a big moment for me.
Well, I'm sure, and I would love to hear in a second. There are probably moments along the way you thought about giving up, or should I do this, or is this really worth it? As a dad of 4 wonderful kids, who you said hey to earlier, which I'm so thankful, my kids love your music, and they love the depth of it, and they love that you love Jesus. And so I'm glad you stuck with it, because I know God's done a lot in and through it. I'm just talking about in the Trussell family. It's been really fun and really special. But why? I mean, you had to hit some moments where you're like, I don't know if I can keep going, or I don't know if I want to keep going. Hey, well, did that happen? Oh, yeah. And then how did you, like, what happened to make you go, no, God's in this. This is what he's called me to do. And I'm going to stick with it.
Yeah. It's been, oof. What moment do I pick? I think probably one of the tougher moments is when I just went through some severe church hurt, you know?
Okay.
For a kid who didn't grow up with a strong nuclear family, broken home, the church became the family I never had.
Gotcha.
And I had these high expectations, right? Artists we romanticize everything. You know, I took my wife to Paris for the first time when we first got married, and I was like, what do you think? And she was like, it's cold. And I was like, cold? You know, she just broke my heart, just ruined everything. So we tend to romanticize everything. So I just thought, you know, I got this church family. We're all going to walk together through life, and we're going to pray together. We're going to love each other. It's going to be beautiful. We're all going to agree on everything. We're never going to disagree. And then when I saw the division and just the hypocrisy, I think it just like, just crushed me. And I said, well, why am I doing this? You know, what's the point of this? And I was like, I can go back to the world and, you know, do this if this is the case. So I think I was just in a dark place, and Satan took advantage of that and just like fed me more lies. And then I just said, you know what, I'm not interested, and I don't want to do this anymore. And I made some really bad decisions during that time period because I just felt like, well, maybe this whole God thing isn't real. And I was a skeptic anyway when I came into the faith. So I said, well, maybe this whole God thing isn't real. Beautiful thing is, as a believer, you can turn your back on God, but he doesn't turn his back on you.
That's right.
You know? And so I found myself sitting, reading the story of Peter's denial.
Yep.
And, you know, I've got everything you could ever imagine at this point in time. I mean, I've got the career. I just had a number-1 album. I'm on the tours. Everything is externally looks great, but inside I am dying. And told my wife I don't want to teach Bible study to the kids anymore. I don't know what I believe about this. And I just didn't know anything. And all she could do was pray. And I'm sitting there reading the denial of Peter. And when I see him deny Christ, it says that Christ looked at him and he began to weep. And what the Lord showed me in that moment was that Christ wasn't looking at him saying like, dang, Pete,
What's up with you?
yeah. He was looking at him saying, yeah, I told you would do this. And I still chose you. And I still want you. And you're still valuable. And then, you know, he comes and he tells him, hey, man, do you love me? Feed my sheep. And I just broke because I felt like the Lord saying, hey, I'm not worried about any of the poor decisions you've made or the fact that you turned your back on me. Yes, there's brokenness and hypocrisy, but feed my sheep, Lecrae. Feed my sheep. And that's where I said, I got to pick this thing back up and keep going.
Well, I mean, unfortunately, I think for you, a lot of your struggles become public, right? A lot more public than mine ever do. So, but that link of battling depression is a common thread. You know, I had the joy of being able to write a book about it about a year ago. And I mean, I remember when we still lived in Memphis on South Goodlet Street, curled up on my roommate's sectional asking God to kill me. And I'm like, if this is life, I
don't want
take me out, take me home. And I'm encouraged when guys like you will share, you know, because it makes you not feel like such a weirdo. You know what I mean?
Like I'm the only one.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But you get through that. What I love, I read Dane Ortland's book, Gentle and Lowly, a few years back, and there's a quote in there that always sticks with me, that we don't serve a God of pointed fingers, but open arms. And
that's really good.
As you're sharing that, I'm going, I can inwardly have this assumption, if I blow it, he's like, but it's right here. And there may be some, there are consequences, right? There are consequences,
for sure.
But there's not rejection.
That's right.
And I think horizontally in our relational dynamics with people, it's hard to do consequences without rejection, right? So it's, you know, we put those together.
That's right.
A lot of times.
That's right.
All right. Dial back a little bit. Tell us about your family.
Met my wife, and I met her as an 18-year-old who didn't know anything. She is, man, what a patient person she is. My goodness. She was also a guinea pig, one of the first to do Downline. My wife, Dara. We've been together 20 years, February 26th.
Oh, nice.
That's right. I got 3 kids. David 18, Amaya 17, Landon 14, and they're great. 2 of them were born here in Memphis. My oldest claims it to this day. I'm like, you left at 3, but I'll give you that.
I got 2 of mine were born in Texas, 2 were born in Memphis, and my second oldest lived in Texas for 6 months before he moved to Memphis.
Yeah.
He's on the baseball field one day. It's like freezing cold, just wearing a short sleeve shirt. So it's like, aren't you cold? And he goes, I'm from Texas. I'm like, bro, 6 months.
That's how it goes, man. That's how it goes.
Yeah.
That's how it goes. Yeah, but they're great. You know, my wife has been the picture of grace and the picture of solidarity that I needed. Coming from a broken home, she comes from a solid family. Her father was a minister. Just consistent. So she's very consistent. She just was a ride or die. On my worst day, she was like, well, we're going to pray and I'm gonna be here.
Wow.
And I was just like, what? My dad left, and you're gonna stay? You know, so she's just an incredible picture of grace and consistency.
What a gift. Well, anybody that's married to a wonderful woman knows what a gift that is, don't we? I mean, God's so kind in that direction. Kenny mentioned you like to freestyle, or that you're awesome at it.
I mean,
You know, I had my own career. I kept it underground.
Right.
Just for fun. I mean, you know, it was like, that was more my scene.
Right.
But I remember that BET freestyle. Was that a competition or show? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
Was that like, when was the moment for you professionally where you're like, okay, this isn't going to be the same anymore? Like, it's different.
Oh,
now.
that was it.
I thought that might.
No,
be
that was it. For
okay,
sure.
tell us about that.
Oh man, it's 2011.
By the way, do we know what BET is anymore? Old music. Okay, all right.
2011. At the time, the BET hip hop cipher is like the biggest thing in hip hop. Like it's the pinnacle.
Okay.
It's the best of the best of the best. It's your, like, you either are made or broken here. You make it or you don't.
So there's a risk in going on
Oh
that deal.
man, this is it.
It's a career killer if you flop.
Right.
Okay.
So it's kind of like the world is watching you. It's like everyone is talking about this moment forever. So what you do here matters.
Okay.
They got Eminem, they got Kendrick Lamar, everybody's there, right? And my son had just been born 3 days before this thing.
Okay.
And so I wasn't going. I got invited. I knew my son was due. My son is born. And my wife is like, get on the plane and go. I'm literally holding him in the hospital, and she's like, go. And I was like, but she's like, go. And so I hadn't written anything. I don't have anything prepared. I'm like on the plane, like thinking through word schemes and like, you know, like literally, because that's part of what freestyling is like you're preparing in your mind, even though you're getting stuff on the fly. It's like if you were to ask me right now, like freestyle, and my brain's already thinking about, it's cold, I got on a parka, I'm drinking Ozarka. Like I'm just like, you're mentally preparing.
Yeah. I was thinking that too.
Right.
Right. Yeah.
So I get there and I got all the strikes against me. I'm new. No one knows who I am. And I'm Christian.
And you're exhausted. New dad exhausted.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like people are just expecting me to fail. Like, what are you, Christian dude? It was so like, I don't know the word, but they so didn't take me seriously. They didn't even know what category to put me in. Because generally they put you like in cities. Okay. And they were like, nah, we're going to put him in the international category. Because you just don't fit anywhere. So I'm with the people from London and Germany and Paris and the Christian dude. Right? It's like, just throw him in there. Yeah. So I'm there and I'm watching all these big rappers. I mean, they are just going at it. And I'm also seeing some new rappers that will remain nameless. But they were bombing. They were messing up bad, and it was embarrassing. And they were like, you could just see them like, oh, this is it. This is a career killer. And they didn't make, their careers got killed that day.
Wow.
And I am so nervous. I'm so nervous. And then it's my turn.
Hold on, set the stage. Is it you kind of verse someone else? Are we like 8 Mile style? Or what's happening?
So it's a cipher. So they have about 4 other people, and you go back to back to back. And so it's kind of like who's gonna have the best verse out of it. So it almost worked to my advantage. They had me with the international crew, because it was like, I mean, not saying people from other countries can't rap.
The hip hop game in Germany,
just saying the expectations were low.
Yeah.
So DJ Premier, who's a world class DJ, he starts spinning the record, and it's like, first person goes, second person goes, third person goes, and you're on the spot. You got to make it happen. The only other time I've been more nervous than this was Jimmy Fallon, because it's like, oh, okay, there's 8 million people watching. Get it right the first time. Go. You know, That's it. And so I am on pins and needles nervous, and it was like an out-of-body experience. And I just get in there, and I'm rapping. and I'm weaving in metaphors and similes, and I'm talking about Jesus, and I'm talking about hip hop, and I'm talking about culture. And in my mind, I'm like, well, I did it. I don't know how we did. And it doesn't air for a couple of days. Of course, while I'm there, everyone's like, man, that was amazing. You did a great job. Yeah. And some of the rappers are like, bro, we're going to celebrate tonight. We're going to the strip club. You want to go? And I was like, did you hear my verse?
Did you hear the lyric?
But thank you. Thank you for the invite. So to get back home and to see my Twitter feed blowing up with all these big rappers saying, the Christian kid killed it. I mean, they didn't spell my name right at all. It was like Lacray. It was just like, but you just saw that consistency. And that's when it was like, we're here. They know Christians rap now. They know Christians have infiltrated the mainstream. We're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you do it, and this is, I mean, I'm not saying you would say this about yourself. I'll say it about you. You did it in a way that was so normal. Right? Like there's a section of Christian music where you're like, it's just kind of overdoing it, guys. Like when you roll every biblical analogy into every verse, but none of it means anything.
Right.
But you did it in such a way that was real, honest faith with real, honest stuff that people go through. Is that just you, or was that a conscious decision?
No, it was actually a very conscious decision. I think early on in my faith, I was just rapping what I learned. So listen to Tommy Nelson tapes, learn about systematic theology. So you're going to hear me say,
Song of Solomon, album 1.
Right.
Yeah.
Systematic theology and eschatology, Jesus is who you ought to seek. That's what you're going to hear, because that's what I'm learning. When I moved to Memphis and I'm living in Binghamton, and I'm involved in the lives of the community and the people, and I'm talking to them, and I'm hearing them, and I'm listening to what they're listening to, and I'm like, no, I've got to be able to have conversations with people, and I've got to take them on a journey with me as I'm walking with Jesus in the same way Jesus did.
Yeah.
And so I think a lot of times we as Christians, we want that like, bam, hit them, say Jesus 20 times so that they'll know, like, get them. But from a missionary perspective, you don't move to China and just wear a shirt that says, hey, I'm a Christian, come talk to me about Jesus. You good. Go and you immerse yourself in the culture, and you befriend people, and you talk to them, and you help them see there's something different about you, and you invite them to things. And that's kind of what I learned being here, is to immerse myself in the culture of hip hop. And I'll be honest, the kids in the neighborhood told me, they were just like, man, that last album wasn't it, man. That thing was slow, man. You got to come better than that. So it's like, okay, I got to work on this. And so I just started weaving in, my life and what Christ was doing. So it felt like, it was like, man, I've heard, there's a group, the kids may know this, the adults may not. There was a group called Migos once upon a time. And one of the members came to me and said, man, until I had to listen to your music before I write. I was like, man, this man is teaching me about God, but I didn't even really know you was teaching me about God. And to me, that was a compliment. I was like, this is great,
When you write, do you write with a specific audience in mind, or do you write in a way that goes, I'll try to make this as broad as possible?
Oh, now I'm giving up secrets. But
you don't have to give
that's
up
fine. I'll do it.
You don't give up any secrets.
I'll give up secrets. Tim Keller used to always say, always preach your sermon as if there's non-believers in the room. And so because I came to a church at 17 and a lady asked me, was I saved? I had no idea what that word meant. I'm always cognizant that there's people in the room who don't know what the heck you're talking about. And so I always try to do what I call double speak. I'll say something that the Christian community understands, and they're like, yeah, I clearly know this. But then I also say something to where the non-believers can still grasp it. And I think Jesus did a good job at this as well. There's things that Jesus would say that would resonate with people on a very surface level, but if you knew your scriptures, you're like, ooh, he's referencing Isaiah right there. And that's what I try to do. I try to write to where it's very broad and surface level, unless you really know your scriptures and you're like, nah, I see what he just did right there. And that's what I try to do when I write.
What's the hardest lyric you've ever written in this sense? Like, I found myself, even in writing some stuff of going, it puts me back in the moment, and you're like weeping while you're writing and going, oh my gosh, I didn't really want to touch that again. Is there a song or lyric or verse that sticks out that you're like, man, this one hurts, but it's true?
Oh yeah. Nowadays I tend to write from a healed place, right? So now when I'm writing, it's because I've already healed from this. I've gone through therapy. I've dealt with it. And so you're getting some transparency through a healed person. But early on, I was just like, oh, am I gonna say this? And I wrote a song called Good, Bad, Ugly on my Anomaly album, where I talked about being sexually abused by a female cousin, and also talked about it forcing my girlfriend to have an abortion. And those were two things that I had not had a conversation with my mother about.
Wow.
So she didn't even know.
And here you are putting it in a song.
So I had to call her.
Wow.
But when the album dropped, I was like, oh, shoot. I had to call my mom and say, Mom, there's a couple things I got to talk to you about. And like really walk through some painful conversations with her and put that out there. But those were two of the most like transparent, vulnerable songs that I think I made. And here's my thing about being vulnerable. I think it's better to write from a healed place, because if you're healed, you're not being vulnerable, you're being transparent.
That's good. Yeah.
When you're not healed, you're being vulnerable, and vulnerable means you can be injured. Like you're making yourself, opening yourself up to be injured. So I'd rather be transparent than vulnerable. Because vulnerable alludes to weakness exposed for other people to take advantage of. And so my encouragement to people is, man, get healed. Go get healing, ask the Lord to do some healing work in you, go to therapy, and then speak from a place where you can reference some tough stuff, but you're referencing it in a place of healing versus a place of like, I don't know how I'll respond if people say negative stuff about this.
Which, and I'm sorry this happened, a lot of people did do.
Absolutely.
And you're opened up so publicly and with such a huge following that you can't ignore. I mean, I always sit there, athletes say, I just drown out the noise and I don't pay attention. I'm like, dude, you can't not hear it.
Yeah, no.
And you don't have to get into any specifics, but man, what was that like when maybe for the first time you're not everybody's favorite Christian rapper anymore, right? Yeah. And stuff's coming at you in all these different directions. That had to be brutal.
It is, man. Especially when stuff isn't true. Because that's the hardest part.
That's right. Because you can't defend yourself to everybody.
You can't even change the narrative, right? You're just like, that's not even true. But it's become like a public thing now to where you can't even pull that back. And, that's why the Bible talks about the tongue and taming the tongue, because it's like if I stand on top of a building and I cut open a down pillow full of feathers and throw them out, I can't get those back.
Nope.
So when you spread false things about people or say like unhealthy things about people, you can't get those things back. And it was really hurtful, if I'm being honest, because you got kids who come across that stuff on the internet.
That's right.
Like my own kids come across like vile, hateful things, and they're like, that's not true. You've got your own personal mental health where I spent so much time early on defending myself, it was draining me.
I can't imagine.
You know, I was like, what? And now I've learned to like, I can't. The secret is just turn your phone off. It's like, it's fine. But a lot of it was hard early on. It really, it took a toll on me. I can think of one particular scenario, just one. One of the things I dislike, and this may ruffle some feathers in here as well, but I dislike, because politics is supposed to be a picture of us as humans functioning with civility and understanding. It's not supposed to be us co-opting the Bible for political gain. And I don't care what party you're affiliated with. It's not about, ooh, they'll like this, let me say this, or right. And I think we see so many politicians take advantage of that on both sides of the aisle. And for me, I'm biblical. I'm kingdom, not empire, right? I'm kingdom. There were politics in Rome. There were politics in Egypt.
Right.
Both those empires fell. The kingdom still stands. So I'm kingdom oriented. And one of the things that really frustrated me was there may be something that I said or somewhere that I went and people instantly said, I see how you've politically aligned yourself and I'm done with you.
Well, everything got politicized, right? Everything.
Exactly.
Yeah. And
I'm like, that's not even how that happened. That's not even true. I got invited to do something and I came, but then they turned it into a political thing that I didn't know they were going to turn it into. Mm-hmm. And now I'm caught up in a political, and I'm like, I'm the furthest thing from that. Mm-hmm. And that's one of the really painful things for me in this day and age is I've seen, especially how social media has divided us intentionally.
Oh, for sure.
Intentionally.
Oh, the algorithms are designed for that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so I think we're weakened because of it.
That's a good word. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
So I do now. This isn't to hurt your ego. I'm trying to decide if it's like I don't know if my kids may have Andy Mineo 1.
Oh, now listen.
Now I mean it's been.
Hey, listen. Let me tell you something. That's all disciple making right there, baby.
That's right. That's right. So
my downline's doing good. All right.
Hey, their favorite song is "Coming in Hot" because you're both on it.
That's right.
Or because you're both on it. That was my boy's
Yeah.
walkout song.
Yeah.
And he's walking out there. I'm like, bro, you ain't coming in hot. But he's got some swagger to him. He has so much fun. He's a life and joy of the
that.
home. But I'm thinking, you and Andy y'all did a lot of work together. Do a lot of work. Mm-hmm. Is there anybody you finally got to do a song with that you're like, I can't wait to do this?
Huh.
Because my daughter loves you and Tori Kelly.
Yeah, the Tori story is pretty cool as I think about that one because the way that happened was here's this like internet YouTube phenomenon of Tori. Then she puts out music. It's doing really well. And I don't know much about her at the time. I just know like she's this internet sensation pop star who's blowing up. And she has a show in Nashville and somebody randomly texted me and was like, "Hey, have you been to Tori's show?" And I said, "No, what's about it?" She said, "She plays your music before every show." And I was like, "Really?" And she happened to be in Nashville, so I said, I'm going to go check it out. And I go, and literally, she's playing my whole album before the show starts every night. And then I was like, yo, can I meet her? And then we get to meet, and she was just a sweet, like, she's like a little sister, but a fan. And I was like, that's so cool, but not a fan of just the music. She was a fan of Jesus and wanting to grow, wanting to learn how to use her artistry. And so I really got to, mentor her and her husband a lot.
Oh, that's cool.
And,
I had no idea.
And what was cool about that was I knew she was so talented, and I was like, man, we got to figure out how to work together. And we made probably about 4 songs, and they were cool,
Okay.
But it was like the Lord breathed on the last one, and it became like one of the biggest songs I've ever done, I'll Find You, with Tori.
Yeah. And, if you hadn't heard that one, it's really,
yeah,
it's special. Yeah. What is the number 1 song you've ever done as far as streams, or I don't even know the language?
It's probably Coming In Hot. I think it's Coming Hot. The funny story about Coming In Hot too.
Yeah,
it was my song.
Gable, hey, my son Gabe will love this. Give the background.
All right. So what happened was Andy and I'll say it was our song, kind of. But Andy and I decided to go on tour together. Better Late Than Never tour, and we said, hey, we need a theme song for the tour.
Okay.
So let's do a couple songs to release as singles. So we recorded one and got it done. And Andy was like, man, we got to get the other one done. I said, yeah, I agree. But I got to go out to LA. I was like, Grammys or some award was going on. And he was like, all right, well, the tour's about to start. We don't have a song done. And I said, okay, well, y'all can work on it. Send it to me and I'll try to put some lyrics on it. And he was like, well, bro, we're in San Diego. You're in LA recording. Maybe we could link up sometime. I was like, oh, we probably could. I got family in San Diego. Maybe I could just drive down there. Now, I'm not realizing my schedule.
Yeah.
So I'm at this event. I'm literally at Jamie Foxx's house. It's a massive house.
Oh, wow.
Right? I'm just trying to be a light in a dark place.
Well, that's right. Yeah, I know. I know.
I'll be a light in a dark place.
It's like the person that tells me they're doing mission work in Hawaii. I'm like, yes, you are, aren't you?
So I'm sitting at Jamie's house. And T.I. is there, and Snoop Dogg is here. And this is what I love. This is the respect they have for me. Snoop had for me. Snoop taps me on the shoulder. He says, hey, nephew, you probably want to leave. And I was like, I'm sorry. He said, it's just probably some stuff's going to happen that you probably don't want to be around for. And I was like, oh, okay. And I'm assuming like there's some smoking or something's happening. I don't know. Yeah. But Snoop respects me enough to say, I respect you, and this is not the scene that you need to be caught up in. And so I was like, all right, I appreciate that heads up. So I leave, and I'm like, well, I got kicked out the party. So, he's probably, you can stay if you want to, but it's your conscience.
They had a separate house for the international rappers next door. It's like, you should go to that one. Yeah.
But I'm like, man, I don't have anything else on my agenda. So I said, well, let me just drive down to San Diego. It's 2 hours. And I just get on the highway. I start driving to San Diego, and I get to the studio, and it's a room full of people, and we're in there, and we're just trying to like think of a song. And Words Play, one of our friends who does a lot of music with Andy, he says, I don't do the most, but I do a lot. And I was like, that's fire. That's fire.
Are y'all trying to write together? He just said it. Like what?
Well, Ed, we're just listening to the beats, and he's just
okay. All right,
Words
all right.
just freestyling, playing around,
right?
And we were like, "Yo, that's fire!" And Big Dre, who's Andy's tour manager and DJ, he's a big guy. He's probably like at his peak. He was like 6'3", 330.
Oh my word!
Big old guy, and they're in the airport, and Dre always has these sayings, random sayings. Like one of the sayings, there were like Cinnabons, and Andy's like, Dre, no Cinnabons, and Dre was like, can't stop me, and that turned into You Can't Stop Me by Andy Mineo.
Yeah.
So another one is like, I don't know if it was pizza, it was something, and it was like Dre's like, oh man, coming in hot. So
That's
it was like
hilarious.
it was a phrase that paid, and then we just thought of it, and that just kind of started the song off. And it was like, you got I don't do the most, but I do a lot. Dre's coming in hot, and you're just like, let's write. We got something here, and then that's how the song came about. We had no idea it was going to blow up like that.
That's so funny. By the way, somebody check their program. I have no idea how long we have. I'm gonna go as long as we can. But how long does it take? What time? We have 10 minutes. Okay. How long does it take, start to finish, for Coming In Hot?
An hour.
An hour.
No time at all. It's just like, it was so. That's what I'm saying. You can't pick a hit. It just happens. You just look up, and then like another cool thing. So this is the beauty of like what I always tell people is infiltrate culture. The jump start of that song, it already was a pretty, decent song in Christian spaces. Like the Christian community was rocking with it. But one of our friends, his name is Caleb Natali. Caleb is a believer, and Caleb is a graphic designer.
Okay.
And a VX effect person. And he's trying to figure out how to be a light in Hollywood and all these spaces. And so he's tasked with making Will Smith's first return video back to Instagram.
Okay.
So they're like, hey, you do the VFX and all the social media stuff for Will Smith. So Caleb is like, I've got a song to put on Will Smith's video. I got the whole thing. And he puts Coming In Hot as the song. And so the first time the non-Christian world is exposed to this song is on Will Smith's profile. And then it just took off from there. And then everyone's copying Will. Kim Kardashian, everybody's just copying Will. And it's because Caleb took that moment to sow a seed. And then you got people finding out about me and Andy through that process, doing deep dives into our music, learning about Jesus. There's today Grammy winners that won Grammys this week who were not Christians that are Christians now because of the exposure they got from that song. And I won't name these artists, but we get to invest and build with them because of that.
Praise God.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
And that's got to be for you where it gets real fun and rewarding.
Oh, man. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Okay, well, speaking of albums, you got one that just dropped. Tell us about Reconstruction.
Yeah, Reconstruction, the second story, just dropped Friday. So I don't know when y'all will see this on, but it's a story of how God is not done. He's always reconstructing us. He's always rebuilding. He's just never done. And if you think he's done, you're sadly mistaken. I don't care if you are 80 years old. God is still reconstructing. And so this is an encouragement to stay on mission. That, there's a lot of talk of deconstruction historically, and people deconstructing. And I'm like, sure. I mean, okay, you deconstructed. God is a reconstructor. He can reconstruct your deconstruction.
That's exactly right.
So
Well, that's exactly right. So tonight at your concert,
that's right.
old stuff, new stuff, mix.
Let's do it all.
Come on.
Let's do it all.
Hey, who's coming to the concert tonight? We got a lot. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, when can we get you and Forrest Frank linked up?
So we did a song for his project called Nothing But the Blood.
Oh, that
Yes.
one's awesome.
Yeah. We did a song. And you know what? Forrest is like, he's a squirrel. He's a squirrel.
In the best way.
Yeah, in the best way. Yeah. So Forrest is like, yeah, man, let's work on something for your album. He's like, I got some ideas. I said, all right, cool, man. At the time he was in Texas. I said, all right, cool, man. I'm coming to Texas. I'll be out there. He said, oh, shoot. I moved to L.A.
Would have been nice of you to tell me that.
Yeah. Got you. I don't have L.A. on my schedule. But let's see if we'll work it out. So, maybe in the future, we'll get to it. But, love Forrest. You know what I'm saying?
But I don't know anything about the industry, right?
Yeah.
I don't feel like Forrest Frank's Forrest Frank without Lecrae paving the way and being Lecrae because
that's generous.
all the work you've done. When you see guys coming up that are great artists and great writers, do you look at that with some satisfaction of how the genre itself has kind of, we've come a long way since DC Talk. No disrespect, right? Right, no disrespect.
Oh, yeah.
I had DC Talk cassette tapes.
Yeah.
True story. 4th grade, I got in a fight with a kid named Connor Sanderson on the playground, Riceman Road Elementary School, and he wanted to settle it after we fought with a rap battle. True story.
Wow. He usually works the opposite.
I know.
Rap,
I know.
But y'all fought then rap.
He went first.
Okay.
I went second. I just quoted DC Talk. That's all I did. He'd never heard of him. He'd never heard of him.
Did Toby Mac take you to the?
Yeah, that's it.
Did you win?
Heaven bound. Heaven bound. But you look at I don't even want. You are an artist that is a Christian. I don't even want to say Christian rapper because people put. But when you just look at it, the landscape overall, are you happy with where it's at? Or there are up and coming talents where you're like, man, this has really grown into something different?
I think for me, I'm a creative. I'm an artist, but I'm a culture maker more than anything. And I think I just get happy when I see culture makers, when I see believers in culture doing transformative work. I just get excited because to me, I think that's just where some of the best things happen. The way I put it is this: if you look at, like, if you make a quadrant, right, and in the top corner, you've got humble excellence, just Christians who do excellent things in the most humble way. Yeah. You may not even know they're Christians, but they're really good at what they do, but they're humble, and that the humility is kind of like the distinguishing mark. Steph Curry, it's like, he's a Christian, but it's the humility with his excellence. Then you've got service and like kindness in the other top quadrant. And I think of like the Salvation Army. I think of like the Red Cross, and like, it's just like, man, they're doing some incredible service to society, and you value them and you appreciate them. The bottom quadrants, you've got transformational, where it's like, man, you are transforming the way people see the world through your faith. And then the other quadrant is distinction. It's like you stuck a flagpole in the ground and you're letting people know, like, you're different. The problem I see a lot of is that these quadrants fight each other. The distinction, people say, you're not Christian enough. The humble excellence say you're too loud. They fight each other. And I think what needs to happen is we need to realize all of that is the beauty of Christianity. And we need to be all of them at different times, because that's what it means to be a culture maker. There's times when you need to be distinct and stick your flagpole in the ground and say, no, because I love Jesus. That's not what makes you the right type of Christian. It's being able to say, but there's other times I just need to be humble and excellent at what I do. And I think in art, Christian art, we're so big on the distinction. Like, this movie is about Jesus, but it's not good. You know,
we laugh because everybody knows it's true.
right? You know, and so I think we need to be all of those things. I love Denzel. Denzel's a culture maker to me because he says I'll play any role as long as the story is redemptive. He's like, I'll play Satan in a movie if it shows how evil sin is and how beautiful Jesus is. And I'm like, I love that. That's a culture maker. And so when I see artists like, man, infiltrating culture, some are more distinctive, some are transformational, some are humble excellence, some are servants. Like, I just love to see them infiltrating culture and being a light.
Well, that's a great word.
Yeah.
Hey, thanks so much for being here.
Absolutely.
Can we tell Lecrae thank you? And I'll just say, you are gifted, but you're also a gift. And I really appreciate that and appreciate not just what you meant to the Memphis community, but even to my own family and to the broader world. If more Christians could tap into that culture making in the humble, excellent way you've done it, I think it is transformational. And then you get all these things working together. You know what I mean? Well, that wraps up this episode. Lecrae, thanks for being here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thank y'all.
Thank y'all. We're done. We thank you for listening to this episode of the Downline Podcast. Please subscribe, give us 5 stars, help us to get this content out to as many people as possible as we continue to partner with men and women in the Great Commission as we seek to make disciples as a lifestyle for a lifetime.